With us today is Rachel Shur. Rachel is an example, vibrant example, on the concept of how to attract health and cure. She really falls into the class of patients who recover. Before they recover, they attract health and cure by their sheer will. She was diagnosed at the age of 26 with acute promyelocytic leukemia, which is number one at a young age, and number two, one of the worst classes of myelocytic and bone marrow leukemias to be diagnosed. She has an amazing story, and what's of interest to us today is the motivation to be healthy again, the motivation to attract health, which is nothing but another manifestation and another use of living in alignment with the law of attraction. Rachel, how was it when you were first diagnosed at age 26? What were the circumstances?
You know, that's a really interesting question. I got into a car accident that saved my life.
Well,
Total God thing, right? And when I went to the hospital with a friend of mine a couple days after my car accident, they said, you have really low platelets. We don't know why. And it took them about 2 or 3 days to actually diagnose the leukemia. But the craziest thing that the nurses said was, you have bruises. I had bruises everywhere before my car accident. And because when I was 26, I was really clumsy, so I just figured that, I was just running into stuff and it was no big deal. And the biggest thing was I did not feel sick. I didn't feel like anything was wrong with me except for a headache and the bruises. And the bruises were the biggest indicator of leukemia.
so what happened next? They found the aberration in your blood counts, and all of a sudden the bruises from the car accident were irrelevant.
Right.
And things started to happen to you and to your family.
Right.
What did they do to you?
What did who do to me, everybody? The first thing that happened after I was initially diagnosed was my mom brought her whole entire church over to the hospital because the church was down the street from where I was at. And they came in and they all prayed around me. And they were all talking about healing and you're going to get through this and you're going to survive this. And I think I was really in a state of like, is this really happening to me kind of thing? Shock. But I dealt with it in such a positive way that I didn't allow it to affect me or my fight.
It's very interesting what Rachel just told us, and this is an unrehearsed interview, that the church participated in intercessory prayer on her behalf.
That's awesome.
This is a phenomenon that has been researched and researched and researched. Does outside prayer help a patient? Let's see what's the next chapter and what happened to the prayer and what are the results of the prayer. So what happened next?
Okay, so this is probably like my favorite story, and this will really show you the attitude that I have about dealing with cancer. I was at Ventura County Medical Center and I had to be transferred to City of Hope, and these ambulance guys came into my room to transfer me, and they were really, really serious. And I don't think I understood why they were serious because I didn't know that I had terminal leukemia because my mom did not tell me that until after I was better. And so my attitude was like, okay, let's go, do what we have to do and get over and get through this thing. And so the ambulance guys came in and they were really serious. We get into the ambulance and my mom is like praying to God, please God save my daughter, please let her survive, you know, and she's rushing down to the City of Hope, and I get in the ambulance and these guys are like way too serious for me. And so I started talking to the bald guy in the back, and this is where I fall in love with bald men. Like when I saw Adam last night, you know, doing his comedy show, I wanted to just run up to him and just rub his head. And the guy up front, he looks like Tom Cruise, and so Tom Cruise says, hey Rachel, do you mind if we play some K-Rock? And I was like, sure, let's play it, you know? I really wanted to change the attitude and the energy in that ambulance because we were going to be stuck together for 3 hours. And so he starts playing K-Rock and Tom Cruise is singing and the bald guy in the back is talking to me and I'm laughing and dancing in this gurney. And we get to City of Hope and my mom is standing there waiting, praying to God that I am alive. And I get out of the ambulance on the gurney and we're hysterical. And she goes, go figure, Rachel is hysterical, you know, fighting for her life against cancer, and she's having a party in the back of an ambulance. I mean, and that's really where it started, was that whole attitude, change of attitude. Just because I was diagnosed with cancer didn't mean anything else.
Interesting. Then she was admitted to the City of Hope Medical Center, which is a top-notch medical center in the United States, and she started or placed on a grueling, cruel treatment program to which she consented. She took on herself a grueling and cruel treatment plan that many other patients say, I give up, I don't want. She had a different attitude. She wanted to attract health to herself. What happened next?
Okay, let me just say something. I have to tell you. One of the things that I have realized is when you are diagnosed with cancer, you should have options. You shouldn't just be told, this is it, this is the only option for you to survive, okay?
Right.
And in many cases, I think if I was given more than just one option, one treatment plan, that perhaps I would have tried something else. But because I was diagnosed so far into the disease, I didn't have the option of making a decision or a well-informed choice. So when I got to the City of Hope, they immediately got me into treatments, chemotherapy treatments, which actually made my lungs, my whole body go into shock. My lungs filled up with blood. Fluid went up into my brain. I mean, like all kinds of stuff happened, and they had to put me into a drug-induced coma for 10 days. And I mean, that was that beginning of those treatments.
And the treatments kind of very prolonged. The ultimate and the best treatment in situations like that is really, in her case, was the stem cell transplant, which entitled what? What did that require? What kind of experience did you have to go through?
Okay, so you forgot. So I was diagnosed the first time, and I relapsed, and the cancer was then in my spinal fluid, which was harder to treat. I had to have brain surgery. I have a port in my head to administer the chemotherapy. And then they said, because the cancer came back so fast, we have to do a stem cell transplant. And the stem cell transplant involved harvesting of my stem cells, total body radiation, chemotherapy. I mean, all kinds of fun and exciting stuff. And let me tell you, every single day that I went to radiation, I had fun. I had so much fun. And that sounds so weird, but if you saw the pictures of me, you know, standing in this harness thing that's meant to hold you up because they expect patients to pass out while they're getting the 30 minutes of radiation on one side of their body, 30 minutes of radiation later. You know, I am sitting in there like I'm going to parachute out of a plane, laughing, I mean, talking to the radiation techs. I was always finding a way to have fun with it, no matter how grueling and no matter how difficult it was to go through that.
Rachel, how long did this treatment plan last? What was the duration?
Of What, the stem cell transplant?
Everything from the beginning to when you were finally discharged from a hospital for home care.
Okay. Well, they were two separate times. So when I was first diagnosed, it took about a month before I got back home. And then I had to go in every single month for a week for treatments. And then when I relapsed, that was pretty quick. The treatments were really easy. I would just go into the hospital and get the treatments done and then go back home. And then after the stem cell transplant, let's see, since I had my own stem cells, it was really great because I recovered faster than most people. And within 2 weeks after my stem cell transplant, I went home.
Did you hear what she says? The treatment was really easy. Don't believe her.
Well, the radiation burn wasn't really exciting, and the breathing treatments because of the mucositis from the radiation wasn't really exciting. But we're talking about positive attitude. No matter what kind of stuff you deal with, you should always have a positive attitude because that is what's going to help you get through that experience. And it's just like they say, endorphins. When you laugh, it's like raising endorphins in your body, and it's raising that energy. And that's really what people need to do. They need to find some way to cope with that cancer, that disease, or that situation in a positive way. And for me, it was laughing. Anytime I could laugh, I was hysterical. And, it's all about, getting your family in and getting your friends in and watching movies and laughing and, just laughing no matter what's going on. Or just finding a positive way to deal with that.
It is amazing getting your family in, getting your family involved, getting your friends. Family and friends are very important in a supportive network.
Definitely.
Being in a good mood, watching fun movies, and then trying to enjoy what kind of life that you can enjoy at that time. So at some point you were sort of discharged from active treatments and were told, oh, your blood count is satisfactory now. How long did that take?
I don't know. I don't remember everything. I have a lot of chemo brain. I don't know, probably after I got back home, maybe a month after the stem cell transplant, but my immune system is still kind of, on the cusp. But I do take a lot of vitamins to try to help that.
And now you're 7 years after the diagnosis, which is an amazing medical achievement. So in my mind, it reinforces one thing, that there is no bad cancer that cannot be struggled and battled and win the battle with. If the patient is willing to go through whatever it takes to go through, and the patient is looking for a good, qualified medical center to help, they can literally manifest cure. This is a matter of teamwork. It's a matter of mastermind. Rachel masterminded with the oncology nurses, with the hematologic oncologists. She masterminded with her friends, and everybody became one supportive brain trust to support her and get her to where she is now, sitting in this beautiful patio and telling her story. And the reason I asked her to tell this story is to encourage other cancer patients that cure is possible, even in the worst case scenarios of some horrible diagnosis that somebody throws at you and says, oh, only 10% survival. Don't ever believe that. You better believe what you want to believe if you want to have a cure. You have to have a will